Welcome back to the Talk of Louisville. I'm Mike Mulready.
I'm Kellye Duckworth.
Kellye, how was your weekend?
It was good. Happy late Father's Day.
Well, thank you. Thank
Welcome.
you. Yeah, it's I don't know. I wasn't a bad kid, but I was heading down the wrong path at one time. So kids actually probably saved me from really going crazy and losing my mind over the years.
Probably. We got some good kids.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. They're good kids. They don't get in trouble, and they've all been seemed to be doing the right thing. So, when's yours? When are you due again?
August 3rd.
There you go. So we need to have a big online shower for Kellye.
Oh,
Send
yeah.
diapers. How about
Diaper,
that?
yeah. Diaper fun. I know, right? Can never use enough diapers.
Well, speaking of carpet cleaning, was that what we were talking about?
No.
Carpet cleaning. Max Care Carpet Cleaning. Best in the business. One of our sponsors, longtime sponsors. They clean ductwork out too, don't they?
They do.
Didn't they get a cat or something out of your duct?
I don't know if it was a cat. It might have been a wolf. It was like 30 years of stuff in my old house. It was disgusting. I know. I was like, I don't know how you guys do this job.
Well, they do it all. They do carpet cleaning. I think they do hardwood floor refinishing. And they'll get the cats out of your ductwork, hair balls, everything. So I was surprised at how much mold and things that get in the ductwork. So have your ductwork clean. They'll sanitize them. They do a great job. Max Care Carpet Cleaning for all of your needs. Today we have the folks from Dream Factory with us. How are you all doing?
Great. How are you?
Have Sandy and Kristy. Tell us a little bit about Dream Factory. Y'all tied to a national organization of any sorts, or y'all a local organization?
So we're tied to a national organization, but we are the local chapter.
Okay.
We just happen to be in the same city with the headquarters as well. I'm not sure. How many chapters do we have?
There's 32, and he's working on about 8 more.
In every state or certain cities, or how?
Every state.
Okay. Wow. So what do y'all do? You all raise money to help kids? Is it primarily kids?
It is. So we grant dreams to critically and chronically ill children from ages 3 to 18. We are the largest volunteer-based wish-granting organization that grants to also chronically ill children, not just critical.
Wow, that's incredible. What's kind of one of the coolest things y'all have ever done? Do you know?
Oh, gosh.
Seems like all kids want to go to Disney World, but is that still the big thing?
It is the big thing. We've sent somebody to the rainforest.
Oh.
We've done a Dude Ranch. This was way back when. I've been a volunteer for 32 years. So the Dude Ranch was the first one.
Been around that long?
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Holy
Actually,
cow.
the Louisville chapter started July the 5th, 1989.
Was the Dude Ranch one fairly recent over the last few years? Or
No, that was...
Seems like I saw somebody else do something like that.
a
That
long
was
time
really
ago.
cool.
But we've done swimming pools. We just finished a room for a child with a brain tumor. He wanted a man cave, so his bro cave. So we got all the bunch of donations and had him a room fixed up for his basement for him and his friends. And we've done a horse arena.
Wow.
Oh, gosh. We built playhouses in backyards, jungle gyms. Disney is absolutely our biggest request for sure.
Yeah, I would say so. We've actually helped a few cancer kids go to Disney, and it's actually I'm getting ready to go next week for a couple of days. We're looking forward to it. So.
We do have a couple right now that want to go to Hawaii. Oh, we just sent one to Puerto Rico. We've got a couple for Hawaii that want to go.
Do you have a hard time getting these organizations to do you still have Disney? Do you have to pay for the tickets, or do they comp it somehow, or it just depends?
So for Disney, we work very closely with a place called Give Kids the World, and they are a lifesaver. They make it a little bit more affordable. They basically are their own Disney World for real. They have their own water parks and theme parks.
Where are they at?
They are in Orlando as well. I'm not sure.
I've never heard of them before.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know how far they are from the park?
I don't think they're very far, but it's an awesome place.
So they have their own park, and then they help you all send kids to Disney as well?
Yes.
They do.
What's their mission? Just same thing, helping kids that are chronically ill?
And making sure that these kids are making memories and taking a moment from all the doctor's visits and infusions and different sorts of things.
So they can stay there cheaper than they would at a Disney resort.
A room for 4 or 5. They get a villa and they get a rental car, and then they get tickets to 4 of the parks, I think. And we can do all of that for a family of maybe 5 or so for a little over $1,100.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. So if it wasn't for them, it's a big chunk of money for us.
Wow.
What about meeting celebrities? What's the biggest celebrity that you've maybe connected somebody with?
Well, there is one, but we can't say.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we can't.
Oh,
We're
it's
not allowed
already...
to use the word.
We're not allowed to use it, so sorry. It's a big no-no.
Artist, female.
And they visited a chronically ill child, or is it in the works?
They went to a concert here.
Really?
With them.
Okay.
Cool.
But we do have somebody now who's wanting to meet. Was it Lena Del Rey? Is that what her name?
Yes.
Lena Del Rey. I don't have any idea who she is.
She's a
your
country.
generation?
She's a country singer, I think, or something. You know, something like that.
Is that
She's
your generation?
She's younger.
Kelly's half our age, so.
But
Younger.
he's chosen like 3 different artists, but none of them are touring in the U.S. So it's just too hard. We don't have the funds to send him to go see different artists
Internationally,
somewhere else.
Correct.
So if we could get an artist in Nashville or something, that would be great.
It's nice of them to do that. I'm sure they get overwhelmed with requests, though. So I'm sure that it probably looks bad if they say no, but you got to consider sometimes they probably get hit 20 times a day with people trying to set up some sort of meet and greet.
Absolutely. I don't think we've been told many times, to be honest.
That's awesome.
It's just being able to orchestrate them being locally or somewhere at least where we can send the families, and that sort of thing. We don't get no often, to be honest.
So you kind of look and see who might be in the area or close by and try and help them get here. If they're close by, you maybe help buy them a plane ticket or something. Or how does that work?
We would send our family to them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I was thinking about getting them here.
No, we send them to them. Send them on a trip.
Yeah. So how do y'all raise money? I know raising money, we talked about this before. Raising money is one of the most difficult things in the world. So what kind of tips and tricks do you all have to raise money?
We have
You're
0
selling
tips and
popcorn
tricks.
right now?
Yes, we are.
Tomorrow the last day?
Yes, it ends tomorrow at 9:22 p.m.
Okay. Well, this isn't live; it's recorded. So, but we'll tag. I'll mention it today too, as well. That you are. What time did you say tomorrow?
9:22.
What's the reason for that?
I have no idea. I don't know where the 9:22 came from. It started at 9:22 and it ends at 9:22. I have no idea.
I did always hear if it was a random time like that, you would remember it more.
Maybe
rather than just saying 9 p.m.,
But,
you would remember 9:22.
Supposedly some really good popcorn. So we get 50% of what we sell.
So what else do you do? Do y'all do a gala or how do y'all raise money? Just donations strictly?
A lot of donations. The end of May we did a Jeeping event over at Bubba's in 33. It was like a car show, but it was with Jeeps. That was our first one ever. And it turned out great. I think we raised almost $5,000 with that.
Oh, yeah.
Which, we were tickled with because, something that usually your first thing you do usually doesn't turn out very well. So we were,
Sounds familiar.
we were very happy with that.
Begging people to show up.
Yes, exactly.
You're sitting there hoping people show up and when the doors open. So.
And then we're trying to do a gala probably in the spring. This will be our first gala we've ever done. So we're doing a lot of firsts.
Did somebody else run it here in Louisville for the last 32 years? And I figure maybe at 32 years, y'all would have some events that have carried on over the years.
Well, we had been associated with the National.
Okay.
We did not. Louisville just became its own chapter, 2 years ago, I guess, almost 2 years ago. So if you heard of anything, it was always just the Dream Factory. Right. And so we were kind of plugged, in there with the National chapter or the national organization. So we didn't really do things for ourselves a lot. We kind of pinged on with them. But since we've split, they've been a big help with us. Trying to help orchestrate some events, getting us going and stuff. They've been a big help to us. But we just do little things right now.
Yeah, it's tough, to hit a home run with an event. You're hoping you have quite a few people show up, and then the trick is to get them show up again next year, and next year, and next year.
Right.
We help, or we kind of run the Cobble Wobble party here in Louisville now, but it's a party that's been going on for 30-something years. So but it takes a long time to create an event that people look forward to every year.
We did do the Cobble Wobble several years ago.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was a good event, but it's a lot.
It's a lot to put on.
The Louisville chapter, we have 12 members, and we are the only ones who do everything for our Louisville chapter. We're all volunteers, so everybody usually has the full-time job and try to do, how that is, and try to do that. So we rely a lot on donations. The donations really get us in there. We, every time we go somewhere, we went to Lou City Soccer the other day and set out a thing. And so little rubber ducks, those little bitty plastic ducks, people love them. And, we made $167 that night just sitting at a table, which to us is great. We would take $5. We don't care.
Yeah.
Because every little bit's going to add up.
So do you all have a budget per kid or per family? Obviously you can't spend $50,000 on one family. How does that work? You just kind of go with what they want and...
Yeah, so we actually, every child goes up to the board. When we have our monthly meetings, we talk about these children, their ages, their illnesses, how many members are in the family, where they're looking to go. And then all of that boils down to us voting in obviously a yes favor. I'd say right now our biggest thing is building partnerships with our community, just anywhere, because we service Kentuckiana, so we don't just service the Louisville area. We go into Indiana a little bit. We're, how many miles?
75 miles.
75 miles from our headquarters, I believe. So we try to work with any child we can. Our goal is to hopefully never turn a child away that obviously falls within the qualifications to be approved.
We did something similar a few years ago. Remember this? We were going to send the kid and like mom or dad. Next thing you know, we was getting messages. Hey, the siblings want to go. Hey, wait a minute. We got 3 cousins that grew up together and they want to go. And now we got the neighbor that grew up next door. And I'm like, wait a minute. We can't send 25 people.
Correct.
But it sounds like you all do everything you can to send as many in the family to make it such a memorable experience.
As long as
because it gets expensive when you start sending that many.
And as long as they live in the family, and then like if they go to Give Kids the World too, they have to actually approve the people that you're sending. So they, like sometimes we'll send caretakers, like if the kids are really have a lot of issues, and sometimes we do that. But yeah.
Yeah, we sent some kids to see, what did we do? Was it Katy Perry? Remember that little girl that we sent to Katy Perry? I think it was.
It was Taylor Swift.
It may have been.
It was Taylor Swift.
But we didn't get any discounts. I think the tickets were like $1,000.
Yeah, they were a lot. They were a lot.
But we didn't pursue that. Well, I don't have those kind of connections.
Yeah. So, we did send somebody down.
Yeah, we don't have to. We can work with you.
Yeah, we sent somebody to the WWE in Philadelphia a couple years ago.
Yeah. They come here quite a bit low.
Yeah, and and we used to have a person on our board who used to be a former wrestler.
Oh, really?
And so, he didn't really get us any cheap tickets or anything. But that was one of our dreams that we had to vote for, to go over a little bit. But that's what he wanted, so that's what he got.
Yeah, that's fun. I've always wanted to meet The Rock.
Yeah,
you ever reached out to him? Yeah,
have an arm wrestling contest with him.
He just seems like a great guy. So. So are the kids usually terminal, or are they just chronically ill, or both? So it could be either one.
It could be either one.
So do people apply at your website, and then you all take so many applications a month and review them?
There's a referral form on our website, and you send in the referral, and they come to our email. And Kristy and I read our email, and if they qualify, then we'll send them the full application, because our application's kind of long, so we don't want them to have to do the full application until they qualify. So once they get the application, then we have a person who actually screens that child. They talk to the child, make sure that the child's wish is theirs, because you wouldn't believe we had one time they wanted a washer and dryer. So that's definitely not the child's wish.
Yeah, we've had that before. Yeah, we'll say, hey, the kid needs this, and next thing you know, they're ordering size 42 pants.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute. What are these kids? These kids aren't. This kid's little. Why are you getting such ridiculous? People, as many good people in the world, you got to be careful, because there's some that will take advantage.
Right. Right. And once the screening is done, then like she said, it comes to the board. Then we vote on it, and then if it's a yes, we have another person who does our fulfillment, and she starts scheduling all the dreams. And then if it's some that we really have trouble with, then headquarters helps us. They have a paid staff person there, and so she'll help us do like the Hawaii trips and things that we don't really have contacts
with. You have like a travel person that helps book that kind of stuff?
No, we just do it ourselves.
Do it yourself. Yeah.
So once a kid gets a dream, do they get another one, or is it a once in a lifetime thing?
We have had one from any other organization. That's one of the restrictions, and they do just get the one dream.
Okay.
Now, we'll tell you that even after the dream, and sometimes before they leave for their dream, we have multiple different things we do during the year, so that we're still in contact and building those relationships with those families and children. Like next Sunday, we'll be at Kentucky Kingdom for our summer family picnic. And when I say family picnic, I mean the whole family. So these kids come, previous recipients that might be in their 30s now, they still show up for these things. We have a big Christmas party we do every year, same process. These kids still get to come. If you've aged out and you're 30-something years old now, it doesn't matter to us. We still want to celebrate you. We still want to know about your life, how you're doing, and that sort of thing.
That's cool.
Something like a Christmas party, though, do you have to make sure that things are, if a kid is terminal or something, they might be really highly susceptible to picking up other sicknesses. Do you have to do anything like that to, I don't sanitize the place? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of, you got a child that is very susceptible. They got a weak immune system.
Mm-hmm. So we don't allow people to come that have been unwell. I know for a while we wore masks. Another thing is we kind of leave it at the family's discretion. You know your child more than anybody else, better than anybody else. So if their immune system is plummeted, it's probably not a good idea. But I'll tell you now, if someone was to reach out to us and say the child still wanted to attend and couldn't, we'd find a way to go to them. Yeah. We don't want to leave anyone out or make them feel like they're less than because they're in a different situation right then and there. So,
how many volunteers do you all have?
We have 12 on our board member right now as board members, but we take all volunteers. You don't have to hold a position on our board to be a volunteer.
Okay.
I have a email list for volunteers. Whenever we get something coming up, we just send out the email, and then if you're interested, you just say, "Hey, I want to do that."
Right.
Do you post like certain things that might be coming up so people can kind of pick and choose what they might want to do? How far in advance are you all? Like this month, if you get 10 applications and you pick 3, is that something that'll take place like in September, or sometimes you might be on a timeline with if a child is terminal?
Right. So it's case by case. We had a child who we did the room for. We needed to do that in a timely fashion, not necessarily super fast, but the one that wanted the man cave for his friends was getting ready to start some treatment for that tumor. So, we wanted to make that expedited as quickly as possible. We had a lot of great volunteers. The community came together. I mean, they were mailing things left and right off of his wish list. So we, as an organization, didn't come out of pocket near as much as we would have if we wouldn't have had all that extra involvement, which we greatly appreciate. And that young man was so happy.
Something like that, do you typically, are the contractors willing to work with you all and give you all pretty low pricing?
This contractor absolutely did. Mm-hmm. They went above and beyond, and she was anyway,
the Burke Company.
The Burke Company, yeah, thank you. She also had a outreach program that she works with, and so we did the list on Amazon, and everything on his list but one item was bought.
Wow.
And they spent, it was over $3,000 just on his list. And then the contractors donated a ton of money and did a great job.
There's a lot of corporations in town that give their employees so many hours a month or a year to do volunteers. And I know, shout out to Texas Roadhouse, I know they've reached out to us a couple times, and that's kind of what they do. They like to do like room remodels, at least they used to, but they're phenomenal folks as well. I'm sure you've probably worked with them. But do you have some companies that y'all reach out and say, all right, we need a crew of painters today. Is anybody willing to help?
No, we don't, unfortunately, but we would love to.
I was going to say, yeah.
Randy and I took over the board. This will be our second full year together. It was kind of a revamp. And so we're just kind of learning the ropes. Me personally, I'm just here to answer the phone when she calls and support what she needs because I'm very new at this position. I'm the co-director, her being the director, but her volunteer work over the last 30-something years helps us along the way.
Yeah.
But we are looking for, like I said, community partnerships. If it's a corporate sponsor, that's wonderful. If it's just a volunteer to paint the rooms, that's perfectly fine. Like we don't really care as long as it's a positive situation for the kids.
No, I get it. But yeah, I'll send you a couple companies I know later offline. But I do know Texas Roadhouse has reached out to us so they're pretty friendly with that kind of thing.
They've sponsored a kid of ours before for a full Dream headquarters. Those people flew in to eat dinner with this family and everything. So they're excellent.
Yeah, they're phenomenal community partners, and it shows. Their business is always packed. I couldn't tell you last time I went to Texas Roadhouse and it wasn't at least a 45-minute wait.
Oh, absolutely.
And people wait. Because, and I think it has a lot to do with they see them in the community doing good things. Don't they own, you mentioned Bubba's. Don't they own, they own Bubba's, right?
Yes. They own Bubba's and Aspen Creek.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know Aspen Creek.
Have you tried Bubba's yet?
No.
It's very good too.
They just built one. It's
and I went and visited it.
It's
Barstown
Road, and it's always packed.
It is
always packed.
Yeah, they just finished it like 3 weeks ago or something, and they had people waiting outside to get in as they were driving the last nail.
Yes, exactly.
So you said you've been volunteering for 32 years. Why did you all get involved with Dream Factory? Did you have a child before that, or knew somebody that wanted to go someplace?
I did not. Me and my husband went to the state fair, and they had a booth, and I talked to the people there, and I got hooked.
Real GN, huh?
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. Because I've got a heart that I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah,
I really
me too.
do. And I want to give everybody a dream, which I wish we could, but unfortunately we can't. But that's how I first got involved with it, and just stayed there. And then Kristy had a child who got a dream.
So
wow.
my daughter, when she was 5 years old, was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a pretty rare genetic condition.
I've never heard of that. What is that?
So you lack collagen in your joints, your muscle. It can affect your organs, your blood vessels, all of the things.
What's it called again?
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Earlers like the ice
Yeah,
cream.
I've heard like ALS.
I'm sure it's a guy or something that they named it after or something.
I've never heard of that. I don't wonder where they come up with this name. So
Right,
she
exactly.
had that, yeah.
She does, and it
she does. So she's still doing okay?
She's great.
Good.
Yep, sassy as ever.
Mm-hmm.
But she was granted a dream when she was 5. Of course, as any 5-year-old, she wanted to go to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
They made it happen, and I knew seeing her out of those appointments and in that element and happy and carefree, I had to come back and do something about that for other kids because it changed our lives forever.
Yeah.
So I started volunteering. I think I did Brew at the Zoo first in an August sweltering heat, but it was worth every ounce because I know what those kids are going to feel when that's granted, when they're, leaving. I mean, we show up in full force at the airport, all the things. So I wanted to make sure any kid could have the same experience.
Isn't that crazy how stuff like that changes your life? It
Yes.
really refocuses you.
My life.
And they get to go to the airport in a limo. Thanks to Pegasus.
Cool.
They help donate the limos for us.
Really? Still pretty much anytime you ask them? Pegasus limo service? Is that what
Yes.
Yep.
Shout out to Pegasus.
Yeah, they've
and
got
then
like a
Kentucky
party
Kingdom
bus
too
that
for
they're
the
taking.
tickets for our picnic.
I'll have to look them up and give them some business. Not that we do it, but just keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah.
We actually talked about potentially doing something like that and being able to use them for purposes other than getting people back and forth to treatments and stuff like that. But the insurance on those things.
I think the girl you sent to the concert, you all got a limo for, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And it
That's
showed up
cool.
on our report, and I had some people yelling at me because they thought we rented a limo for our own personal purposes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we rented a limo and took the whole staff out to dinner.
So how many dreams a month might you all do?
Like I said, we really try not to say no. So as long as they fall under the criteria, I would say, and it varies. Like right now, last year we granted 32 in the fiscal year, which to us was a massive number of kids. This year we're not on target to grant that many because multiple kids want to wait till the fall, which puts us in a new fiscal year. Now they've been granted, but it's not fulfilled yet. So the fulfillment then it puts it with our fiscal year. So I think right now we're at about 14 or 15 completed for our fiscal year.
Something like
so you're looking at a couple a month usually.
Usually, yeah.
That's pretty good.
And sometimes a month we've got 5 kids.
Right.
Sometimes a month we don't have 1 kid yet.
Right.
It just depends on where they're going and when.
Wow.
And we're trying to do something like send off parties for the kids. We've only unfortunately got to have one because we usually have to try to find a place to have it, and then we try to get food donated if we can and whatever. But our first one we did, one of the children loved Belle and the Beast. Well, we have people who dress up as characters. So we had Belle and the Beast at the party with us.
Oh my gosh.
And he was just in awe of these people. And, and people like, how can you go and work with these kids?
Yeah.
How can you, I'm like, when you see the smile on these kids' faces, just for that brief moment, it's worth it.
Isn't there a group of people that do Marvel characters around town that do Spider-Man, Batman, stuff like
They're
that?
like the window cleaners at the hospital.
Yeah. But we do have some that dress up for different things. So who did we have at the tea party?
We've had Belle, we have Tiana, that's the Princess and the Frog. And then we have the Beast. And was she Moana at the Kentucky?
She was Moana last year at Kentucky Kingdom.
Pretty popular in the
Oh yeah, and it's
loves Moana.
and when you're out, thank these volunteers that do this because kids just come right to them and they'll take pictures with anybody. They don't care. We're walking through the airport and the people are, and she's like, "Do you want a picture?" So she'll stop and they'll take pictures, with any kid. So
you're talking about a gala this year. to raise money. Anything else coming up that we might want to let people know about? Y'all had some flyers there. Is there anything on there we need to get some information on? How can people support the Dream Factory?
They can go to our website. You can Google the Dream Factory of Louisville. If you do not find the Louisville page automatically, it's okay. There's a button on there that says find a chapter. You go down to Kentucky. There's only 2 of us, Lexington and Louisville. You can find everything we're doing on there. I do my best to keep that updated as best as possible. So all of our upcoming events are on there right now. We do have, let's see, Thursday night we have the Riverbats game that we'll have a kid throwing out the first pitch for. We also have a 5K coming up. We've got 9-pin no tap at Dixie Bowl down here in July.
When's the 5K?
July 19th, I think.
He's hoping July the 19th.
Waiting
He
on the
was
permits.
waiting on permits. If not, then we're probably going to.
Been there, done that.
Yeah,
Yes.
then probably we're going to end up at like the Parklands
Okay.
because it's a private place and you don't have to have the permit. So
It's about 2 weeks for you to do. You want to go do a 5K?
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah.
I'll
cheer you guys on.
we're still trying to work out the logistics, but right now the date's July 19th.
Yeah, we started when Mom died. We did a 5K and we did a red carpet walk, and the 5K was fun. It's just a lot of organizing to get people to come. And
Our director of events is so hungry and so eager, and he doesn't take no for an answer. So we're grateful for him and most of his little connections that he's made himself throughout the years.
Does he have a brother or sister?
I know.
I don't know.
We need somebody. We don't do events a lot anymore, but we've talked about spinning a few up again.
We
But
could
we
loan
just
him
don't
out.
have time to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Contract him
Excellent,
out.
honestly.
Yeah,
He's a great source of information, and it's wonderful to see somebody hungry to do something like that. We have no idea what we're doing in events,
You could figure it out.
but we do.
And we
I was
do.
going to say we do
No,
figure it out.
it's a lot. You just have to have just have to be very good and organized.
And he
But
is.
but let's be honest, people don't make a lot of money off the events. They make the money off the sponsorships.
Correct.
Right.
And that's where it's at. So if he knows a lot of people, that's where it's at. Well, great stuff. Dream Factory.
Yeah.
Should we what do you think? How much should we make a donation today?
I was waiting on that one.
What do you think?
What do you think?
I don't know. Want to flip a coin?
10.
10?
10?
Let's do 10.
Okay.
$10,000 help us?
Absolutely. That's almost 2 full drinks.
I was
right
thinking.
There
there.
you go. We'll make a
Appreciate every bit of it.
$10,000
Yeah.
donation to help get these kids out to where they need to be.
I love this. I
Yeah.
feel, I guess I'm lucky I haven't heard of you all because my kid hasn't needed it, but also that's a great thing that we have, I guess, in Louisville.
That's why we try to do stuff like this because we're still trying to get our name out there.
Yeah, I've never heard of you,
just
but
don't know, about us, and so we try to do a lot of just even like the vendor things, with those fairs, nonprofit fairs and stuff. Even that, we'll go to those and sit there and just talk to people. We just did one at Humana, and we ended up with 60 some odd volunteers from Humana.
well, it sounds like the state fair got you, so
It
hopefully
did.
you all have a
It
booth
did.
there.
We know because we don't have, with the board members that we have in the full-time jobs, it's kind of hard.
Doing every day.
But that's something that we would love to do.
Yeah.
But, we got to get the manpower. I mean, we have a lot of people on the volunteer list, but like you said, we need sponsorships for different things. And our website is dreamfactoryinc.org/Louisville. And so you can go there and get the referral and stuff.
If
We'll
you
have
know any
Ryan.
kids, absolutely send them our way.
Yeah.
You can refer them yourselves if it's a friend, a neighbor, somebody in the school, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to keep that in mind for sure.
Especially with our kids' programs.
Actually, next door, Mary handles all the people that need assistance, and we'll get with her, start getting with her, and see if there's kids that would be
Absolutely.
interested. So
Yeah,
I can leave her
absolutely.
my card.
Yeah.
that'd be great.
And I put some brochures in your bag for you.
Sounds good.
So
Well, thank y'all for stopping in.
Yeah.
thanks for having
Thank you
us.
for the time.
Factory Inc. Look them up. Amazing organization. Who would not want a kid that is struggling medically to have a dream? I think it's pretty incredible. So thank y'all for stopping in today.
Yeah.
It's a
Thanks so
pleasure.
much
Thanks
for your
having us.
donation.
Yeah. Of course.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.